be the NDT advantage. Arms control advantage. The ex ante counter plan. The necessary and proper counter plan. And then the war powers to set.
Proliferation causes extinction because an increase in the number of nuclear reactors increases the risk of miscalculation and emboldens lower level aggressions that escalates to great power wars. That's the chronic evidence. The barrage evidence says that there will be a bunch of accidents and misperceptions. It's only slow now because of the NPT. That's the and Vehement evidence. Rogue and authoritarian states don't matter. And Vehement assumes. Spoiler says the NPT nor prevents that from spilling over to a cascade. Dozens of states have capabilities that can escalate spread to countries like South Korea, Brazil, and Egypt does escalate because our argument is about accidents that are prone in new nuclearizing states. Spread also causes a cascade of proliferation. The realism card doesn't have an implication. INF doesn't thump Williams, and 18 ruffled feathers will smooth over quickly be today. Still limit the 2002 U.S. to withdraw from the missile treaty. Walking away from the treaty now will, in the long run, enable the U.S. to demonstrate that it takes arms control obligations seriously. Yes, Iranian withdrawal. Our social evidence says they'll restart enrichment now, which causes an arms race in the Middle East that draws in great powers. The oil thing doesn't take out our angry evidence. Countries like Russia and China have other trade and military interest in the Middle East and would want to prevent an arms race in the region, which is a reason why they get involved, which causes escalation. The arms control advantage concede that the status quo is sustainable for emerging technology and all of their impact defense. I'm not going for it. The ex ante counter plan, it doesn't solve the NPT advantage. It's not credible. The ZRS evidence is that ex ante agreements can be unilaterally terminated from. Ex post CEAs can't be terminated by the executive because they have implementing legislation behind them. The perception that the counter plan can't be withdrawn from means that it's not credible with non-nuclear states. With non-nuclear states, which means they can't solve the advantage. That's the Ingram method. CP is reversible. Bradley and 18 just new practices consistent with presidential authority to terminate the Article 2 treaties terminated throughout history. In addition to the 50s and 60s, presidents terminated multiple ex ante CEAs. The president terminated a CEA relating to his career murder aggregation. Congressional executive trade agreements have been terminated without the consent of the trading partner. Perception of irreversibility is key to solve the Ingram. And 17 resistance to irreversibility gives away a deep assumption of commitment to indefinite nuclear posture. Irreversibility is important strengthening the United States means in training. The guarantee in law, hard legislation encoding the agreement is key. The counterplay doesn't do that. Stone and to the difficult of repealing a CEA reinforce the idea of the political branches of fortune. Durable consensus on a given signal. The president cannot unilaterally terminate CEAs or courts of prison submitted for congressional approval. Statutes Congress must pass a new law to repeal a CEA. The Galbraith evidence just says that ex post CEAs take time to negotiate. We solve that with immediate fiat. Durable fiat doesn't solve because our deficit is about the perception of irreversibility with other countries. The counterplan links to the war powers dissent. It's a restriction on the president to their SCARI card. They read in the one-and-armed war power says that any limitation on nuclear authority triggers the internal link to the DA, and the counterplan is clearly a limitation on nuclear authority. They've set the link threshold so low that the counterplan has to link to it. The president is the final decision maker under the plan 2. The Harrington card isn't about the counterplan. This is the process of ex-ante CEAs provide open-ended authority for the president to negotiate agreements. Negotiation is not key to flex the mechanism. The counterplan is Trump can't materially do the same thing as the plan. Permutation do both solves any residual net benefit. The necessary and proper counterplan conditionality is a reason to reject the team because the damage is already done and otherwise rewards the negative for theoretical abuse, which only encourages worse abuse. Our interpretations the negates one conditional advocacy in the status quo that solves the info processing and logic standards because they still get one. I'm going for 2AC strategy. We couldn't read our best offense or because they can because none of it's cross applicable to the debate. The 2AC is the defining speech of the debate. If we don't get our best offense, it's an auto loss neg flex. There's no distinction between 1 and 2 conditional worlds. This is also a GSU app we've been reading all year, and good generic solve for flex. The war powers dissat case turns the dissat proliferation structurally undermines deterrence dynamics, which means the result doesn't send the same signal. The dissat doesn't turn the case. The NPT is the key determinant of the decision to prolif. All concede use impacts of terrorism and WMD prolif U is wrong. Flex is not key. Strickler and when you discusses the need for flex increase the false element of the retains the natural powers to respond quickly. Congress has demonstrated that it can move quickly. After September 11th, the Senate voted to authorize force whatever their capacity. Presidents do not always react with president speed. Executive decisions in the short term may limit options over the long term. The president's capacity to make decisions for superior members is the case. The process is shaped by the executive's native abilities of intelligence. Secretaries succumb to the group team. Congress may be able to offset structural disadvantages. Diverse ideologies and perspectives make them less susceptible group think. Congressional power is key to prevent global conflict. Flex and speed arguments don't assume Trump kooks and 18 Trump risking conflict around the world. It's time for Congress supervision. Trump's erratic threatening dangerous war with nuclear, no co-atrophy of Congress's role ceded power to President to Star Wars anywhere use nukes on a moment's notice, threatened tweets, threatening war without cabinet, no strategy. Congress rejected actions that undermine security time for Congress to reassert itself and what faces grave such of refugees funding to State Department responding to Russian aggression Syria. Congress must lead, reassert authority in war, Afghanistan, given escalation with Iran responsibility of Congress on military intervention, U.S.-Russian wars with limited debate today, major conflict with Trump, no room for error. Congress is key to political accountability, which solves nuke war that outweighs speed Adler in H.R. powers, deter abuse, make policies of rational action and unaccountable behavior, joint policy making ensures policies will not reflect private preferences or short-term political interests, devastating nuclear war and extermination of the human race, demonstrate the need for joint participation with this piece of virtually nothing to do with rapid response to executive big unilateral, executive, insulated, and unaccountable in the wake of Vietnam, Watergate, and Iran Contra effects of groupthink exacerbated inexperience of president's restrictions will happen now. The Kim evidence says that Congress is challenging the administration by rebuking Trump's decision to pull back troops. If they are right that congressional Democrats are super on board with expansive war powers, then why would the president of the plan ever spill over? The Fair York card says that there are a bunch of institutional incentives for Congress to forever cede war powers to the president. Tons of past thumpers since 2011 prove ever and 17 Congress are taking back power from Trump on national security. Republicans in Congress are proposing new checks to curb the White House's power of national security. You see Congress stepping up to take a much more aggressive role in national security. For the first time in a long time, there were similar efforts to curb Obama's national security powers, including blocking closure of Guantanamo, rolling back surveillance system, and Russian sanctions bill would block Trump. There's no impact of the pathogens evidence. The winner evidence is a bunch of technological barriers to those ever dispersing no attack lenses and 14 bioterror. As a concern is misleading bio experts believe the risk of a large-scale bioterror to be quite small. This is backed up by historical evidence for small-scale knowledge and resources necessary for scaling to large and dissemination present significant barriers. Medical countermeasures will significantly blunt the impact. No impact to disease, pork war, and 17 natural epidemics every year unlikely to cause human extinction of species extinction. Less than 4% were infectious disease. None are globally dispersed, and other factors contribute to our species. Is numerous dispersed and capable of rational responses, very unlikely to be killed off by a national pandemic. Highly lethal.
Market. The evidence says that nuclear war destroys the environment, which kills everyone.
Yeah, our evidence says nuclear war destroys the environment, kills everyone.